How has the Albanese Labor government engaged with business groups on the closing loopholes legislation, and what has been the response?
Give a call to the Minister for Employment and Workplace Relations and the Minister for the Arts.
Thanks very much, Speaker. And I thank the member for Robertson for the question and note that his local area of Robertson has gone from having somebody who was passionately committed to low wages being a deliberate design feature of Australia's economic architecture to now being represented by someone who proudly wants to get wages moving in Australia.
Order. Member for Groom will cease to interject.
Can I take the interjection? Because the member for Groom might not be aware that for the last 6 months real wages have grown. Real wages have grown in the last 6 months, notwithstanding that when they were last in office they fell by 3.5%. That's the figures that we were given in their final quarter. So yes, the policies of the government are making a difference. Yes, people are still doing it tough and more needs to be done. And those opposite are about to get a chance to do more when the final votes happen on the Closing Loopholes bill. And that's exactly the issue that the member for Robertson has asked me about. Because the member for Robertson has asked about the business consultation. And there are different attitudes from different business groups. Effectively, there are some business groups who have members where for those individual members they are using these loopholes to underpay people. That's what they're doing. And some of them have significant financial gain to be made by this bill not going forward, and every day it is delayed is a day that is better for them to be able to continue underpaying their workforce. And so I noticed today the ads are back. Now, I noticed the ads back in one of the papers. Now, a while ago when the ads first started, you could have forgiven the groups that were funding them because they hadn't seen the bill yet. So maybe they didn't know that the ads involved misinformation. Maybe they didn't know that this concept that you would be compelled to pay a brand new worker the same as your most experienced worker was not going to turn up in the ledge. Well, now they've seen the legislation, it's there in black and white, and it's made no difference to the advertising at all. Because what those organisations are wanting to do is they're wanting to delay, they're wanting to complain about consultation that initially they were part of and then said can they no longer be involved in confidential conversation, and then they want to talk about something that the issue is not. But contrast that to the groups that have engaged. Contrast that to the Hotels Association, engaged professionally, and now as a result tomorrow I'll introduce amendments to the casuals provisions. Compare that to Uber, Menulog and DoorDash. Engage constructively, there'll be amendments to the gig provisions, specifically making sure that we meet the purposes of legislation. And compare that to the peak body representing the industrial interests of the resources industry, ARIA. Hardly a member of the Labor Party, but a professional organisation that has represented its members, and there'll be amendments as a result.